question from Rhonda in New York. In light of the recent exposure of the atrocities committed on First Nation Canadian children in out-of-home care last century, do you now reflect and draw parallels on your own childhood experience? I was in St Patrick's Orphanage, run by the Sisters of Mercy, and they had a very simple philosophy. The spirit of the child must be broken for the Spirit of God to enter. As such, they were very, very strict, and they were very, very harsh. I copped a lot of beatings, beltings, and punishments. I responded to a question recently, I think one of Jack's questions about it was the forest I lived in, the same as the forest under the stairs. I was locked under the stairs by the Sisters of Mercy. But while I was in that orphanage, I became very close to a friend, or I had a very close friend, Gussie Nichols, and he was a first Australian person. And we used to share a lot of time and tell each other stories. And that's where I actually learnt that Captain Cook didn't discover Australia. Australia was already discovered. I got into a lot of trouble about that later in my life, another story. But one day, Gussie just disappeared. He wasn't there anymore. And I asked questions, where's Gussie? Where's my friend? Has anyone seen Gus? I would get frowned upon and in trouble for asking silly questions. But nobody really ever explained to me satisfactorily where Gussie went. Now, I don't know where Gussie went. What I do know is that in all the years that I've been trying to find him, I haven't been able to locate him. There's no record that I can find of Gussie around today. So, do I draw parallels to the Canadian, first Canadian children? In some ways I do. I do have friends that experienced institutional out-of-home care as children, and they talk about brothers or sisters that went missing and have never been found, and friends like myself of people that have never been found. So there's no concrete evidence, although vaguely in the back of my mind I recall some bodies being found along a fence line at one time. I would need to research that a little bit further before I could comment on that. But what I do know is that the institutional out-of-home care system in Australia was brutal. It was absolutely brutal, and that's reinforced through reports such as the Forgotten Australians report tabled in the Federal Parliament in 2004. There's also other reports, the Bringing Them Home report, Child Migrants report, the Ford inquiry from Queensland. So there's a lot of evidence supporting the brutality of those 20th century out-of-home care systems, and a lot of people draw parallels to the 21st century home care systems as well.